can say definitively that religions are all bullshit.
Welcome to Brainstorm.
We have the explicit tag for a reason.
This is a base level argument to a higher level morality.
I get paid to science?
To science as much as one can science.
What the hell was my point?
Trigger warning. The Brainstorm podcast will criticize your most cherished beliefs. We attack nonsense in all its forms and discuss difficult subjects. If you peddle pseudoscience, supernatural woo, or religious dogma, then this is not your safe place. This is the home of hardcore skepticism.
All right. Hi. Welcome to Brainstorm. Welcome to the Brainstorm Podcast Skeptic Studio, where we do interviews, major topics, and news related to skepticism and atheism. I'm Destin. On my panel tonight, we got Lisa.
Hey.
Rene.
Hello.
Brandon.
Hey, hello.
Basit.
What's up?
And the sometimes amazing Dave.
Not so amazing today. Not
so amazing.
Today.
Still okay, though.
Okay.
We're here in Roaming Empire Studios at Regina, Saskatchewan.
No, it's not.
Today's March 2nd, 2018. Our guest tonight is the president of American Atheists and author of Fighting God, David Silverman. Thanks for joining us, Dave.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Hey, no, thank you. We hear you have a really cool upcoming event.
Oh, boy, I got a really cool upcoming event, and I appreciate you letting me get right to it.
Well, we're going to start off and end there, so.
Sounds great.
No.
So the event itself is the American Atheist National Convention, and American Atheists has a convention every year, and we've been doing it for a couple decades now. And the reason that I wanted to come on this podcast to talk to you about it is because this one is turning out to be really kind of special. A lot of times people say, wow, we're doing this podcast and this is going to be the best. We're doing this convention. This is going to be the best convention ever. And a lot of people say that. And I'm here to say that this actually might be the best convention that I've done. I mean, we've done 1,500 person conventions, 1,300 person conventions. We've got the largest and best and most fun atheist conventions in the country. But this one is turning out to be really kind of interesting. And the reason that it is, one of the reasons is our keynote speaker, who is Hugh Laurie from House. And he's going to be coming to our event. And I had breakfast with him like last week, and he's all in. And he's coming. So this is going to be the atheist movement's first A-list celebrity. Sweet. And he's coming. He's donating his time.
Is that where the picture of you, him, and Kim comes from? Was from breakfast?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we had breakfast with him, and he showed up early and he stayed for 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours, and we had breakfast with this guy, and he is intelligent and charming and humble and modest, and he's feminist, he's woke, he's impressive, and he's coming. I'm really kind of excited. I don't like to say I got starstruck because I don't really get starstruck, but I do get impressed, and he impressed me. And so he's coming, and he's going to be coming to our VIP event. So if you come to our VIP event, you'll have the chance to mingle with him, and you'll have a chance to get a picture with him. But this is like a piece of it. So let me put this picture together for you. We've got Hugh Laurie as our keynote speaker, and we also have Barry Lynn, who's the former executive director of Americans United for the Separation of Church and State. He is the closest you can get to the atheist movement without being in the atheist movement, because he's an actual reverend. He's a theist, but he is like the biggest ally. Yeah, he's the biggest ally that we have had for 25 years.
That's unbelievable.
And and on the other side is Inna Shevchenko. And Inna Shevchenko is the president and founder of Femen. Femen is the group of women who lead topless protests against Muslim jihadis in Europe and Russia. And so if you can just picture these three people, you've got Hugh Laurie, and you've got on one side the most cushy, touchy-feely, huggy person that you could possibly hug. Okay, Barry Lynn is somebody you just want to hug all the time, and Inna Shevchenko is somebody that when she speaks, fire comes out of her mouth, and she is eloquent and brilliant and heroic, and she gets me fired up. So we have these three. We have Anthony Magnabosco. We have the managing editor of Snopes is going to be there as well. So we've got some really fantastic speakers coming, and that's a piece of the puzzle. The other piece of the second piece of the puzzle is our theme and our attitude this year, and it is about love. It is about the love that underlies Firebrand atheism. It's about compassion. It's about charity. It's about community. We are doing a 25,000 meal food packing drive for the local homeless people. We're going to be raising funds for Mohammed Al-Shadra, who is the founder and now former president of the Jordanian Atheists. He had to leave Jordan because he was president of the Jordanian Atheists, and he's coming. And after he speaks, we're going to raise money for him to help him relocate to America. Wow. And so there's going to be a tremendous amount of goodwill here. The unofficial tagline is hearts plus brains minus assholes. Okay. I hope I can swear on this podcast.
Oh yeah. It's
okay. Yeah. I should have asked that first.
We're in Saskatchewan.
It's mandatory.
Okay, right. You allow swears in Canada. Yeah, that's good.
We allow swear like in the workplace here. It's everywhere.
You have to say sorry after though.
So we've got this. We're putting together a welcoming atmosphere, a happy atmosphere. We're putting together a really positive place, a welcoming place where people can come. And I've always been a proponent of Big Tent atheism. I've always been a proponent of bringing everybody in, even if you're an atheist. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're an atheist, you're welcome. And as the atheist movement has grown, there's been, certain factions of atheism that are just unpleasant people. And we are actively soliciting the pleasant people. We are actively saying hearts plus brains minus assholes. If you want to be a pleasant person and nice and be welcoming to everybody there, please come. If not, maybe you should get some compassion and some empathy and then come back later. I'm all about redemption, but I am not all about making people feel uncomfortable. So, you've got these other conventions that are popping up around, and they're saying, oh, well, we're going to be edgy, and we're going to put a whole bunch of these people up on stage, and we're going to talk about hate tweets and rape tweets and yay. And that's not happening at us. This is a positive event. It's a positive convention. It's a welcoming convention. And that's part two. So we're going to have this fantastic lineup and this very positive charity-based, community-based, compassion-based theme. The third thing that I want to get everybody to understand is that we haven't raised our prices in 2 years, and we're offering even more discounted rates for people who simply can't afford to come. So the picture is that we are creating a underpriced, very excellent event.
I like that idea.
Yeah. And we're doing it for a very specific reason. Because because conventions are getting smaller, and when they get smaller, they get less effective and they get less motivational. And to a lot of people out there, if you've never walked into a room, there are some people out there, they've gone to atheist convention and there was 100 people there, 150, 200 people there. If you came to last year's American Atheist Convention, there were 450 people there. That's great, right? 450 is a good crowd. This is already above that crowd. This convention is already above 450. we will probably sell out. We just put up billboards announcing Hugh Laurie in Oklahoma City. And the reason that I wanted to come on this podcast is to tell everybody that this is going to be a special event because it's going to be so big and so positive and so cheap and so spectacular. This is going to be an event. It's just working out this way too. It's not like some anniversary convention. It's not a special year or anything. It's just 2018. And it is, I guess it's our 35th year or our 55th year. But that's not the reason that we're doing this spectacular thing. It's just working out to be a really special event. And so I hope people come. I hope people go to the website. The website is atheists.org. And tickets are still on sale. And yes, a lot of people get your tickets now before they sell out. And I'm telling you that this convention is already 2/3 sold out.
That's great.
But yeah, so I don't know if we may have to move it across the street to the convention center.
Go to a bigger venue.
We may have to move it. But we have a great hotel in Oklahoma City. The Sheraton is treating us very well. Oklahoma City is actually a very nice city. They're treating us very well. They're very welcoming to us. And damn, folks, you got to see this guy. Hugh Laurie is a freaking spectacular guy. I'm really, really excited to know him and to bring him to the movement. And I hope that people who hear me on this podcast will just think about the perfect storm that we're deliberately creating. A very positive atmosphere, a very welcoming atmosphere, a fantastic lineup, and artificially low prices. Please come to the American Atheist Convention. Your face will be sore from smiling too much.
So I know. Go ahead.
If you've never walked into a room full of 1,000 atheists, okay, just think about that for a minute. If you've never walked into a room with 1,000 atheists, you haven't felt the community. You haven't felt the level of camaraderie that you should feel. We had 450 people last year. It was good. It was a nice convention. And that's about the smallest that we've had in a long time. This one is going to be big. And I hope that people come because if you haven't walked into a room with 1,000 atheists before, it's an experience that you haven't. It's an experience. And I hope you all come and experience it with us.
Cool.
I've heard of, obviously I know of Hugh Laurie as an actor, a fantastic comedic and dramatic actor, just really cool guy. Has he been very active as an atheist? Has he, what is his, I know, for example, Ricky Gervais is very outspoken on his atheism, but I've never heard of Hugh Laurie in that capacity. Can you speak to that at all?
No, he doesn't actually speak out about it. He doesn't speak out about it very much. He is an atheist. He's hardcore like us.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah. He did the Fry and Laurie, and Fry and Laurie was kind of atheistic a lot of times, but that's all acting, right? And House was, of course, all acting.
Right.
But he doesn't do a lot of atheist activism. This is kind of his foray, and he came to American Atheists because he likes the way we work, and he likes the way. He came to us. That's how we got him. People ask me all the time, "How did you get Hugh Laurie?" He came to us. That's how.
That's awesome.
But it's great to get that recognition.
Yeah. He came to us. He followed me on Twitter. I followed him right back, and we started talking. And that's how it happened. And it's a wonderful thing, and I'm really excited. I can't wait to put him on stage.
I had a question about branding when it comes to conventions. We've had one. We're working on our second one. How do you brand and come across with a convention and differentiate yourself from the shit shows that are things like MythCon?
Okay. So MythCon is a great example of, I don't want to call another shit. Yeah, it is a great example of what we're not. Okay. MythCon is trying to push its limits. I don't know if it's a for-profit or a not-for-profit event, but it's an event put on by people within a specific agenda, and I don't agree with the atmosphere that they're creating. So how do I do it? Well, I mean, hearts plus brains minus assholes is a direct response to MythCon, right? That's the idea. I shouldn't really say it like that. But the idea of stating that we're not looking for assholes at our convention, the idea of stating it when people need to be stating it. How do we do the branding? Well, we find out where the market holes are. We find out where it's finding a market niche. And you have to find a market niche every year. You have to find a different niche every year based on what the competitors are doing and what the other conventions are doing and what the community isn't getting from those other conventions. And it's a lot of it is gut, but like right now, this community needs love. This community needs compassion. This community needs unity, and it needs redemption in a great big way. But it also needs love. I mean, that's what we're talking about. This community has kind of run a little low on love and kindness and compassion. A lot of people are just sniping at each other, and there's a lot of division, and there's a lot of, people throwing shit at each other. And we need to actually just bring love back into focus, bring compassion back into focus. A lot of people don't understand that the inside kernel of firebrand atheism is love and compassion. That's what this is all about. That's what I do.
Sure, you don't have to be friendly and coming across as sweet and sugar to be compassionate.
And sometimes that's the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay. You think about the whole concept of, well, this is your truth and you have your truth and I have my truth, right? We know, you and I both know, we all know atheists who have said that, right? And when they say, oh, you have your truth and I have my truth, they think they're doing good. They think they're being nice because the person they're talking to smiles and says, oh, yes, we're all good, happy, lovey, huggy, feely. But that's actually really, really cowardly and very unkind and very, I would say it's not humanistic at all. If you've got somebody who's infected, who's brainwashed into thinking that there's a man in the sky, and you say, okay, well, you have your feelings, you have your truth, and I have my truth. Well, you've just elevated the lie in their mind to reality. You've just elevated it. And you have shied away from helping a person away from that lie because you didn't want to get a frown. No, your truth is not your truth. Your truth is actually wrong. It fits the definition of wrong. It is actually the exact same as every other person who believes in a different God that you think is wrong. And you need to hear that. And if you get mad at me for saying it, that's okay because I'm going to do it anyways. I'm being a kind person by telling you the truth. And yeah, you can take it or you can leave it. And maybe you'll hear the truth for the first time. Maybe you'll think about it and maybe you'll come out of the fog that you've been in since you were indoctrinated as a child. But you do need to hear it. You do deserve to hear it. And yes, I'm going to take some flack for it. I'm going to do something nice for you, which is tell you the truth and help you get away from the stuff that's holding you back. And you're going to hate me for it a little bit. You're going to give me grief for it. And I'm going to do it anyways.
Yeah,
and that's humanism.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's humanism. That's caring. That's love right there. Okay? If I didn't care, I would say, yeah, your truth is your truth and my truth is my truth and, do whatever you want. That is uncaring. That is unhumanistic. It's not nice. It's cowardly. And so it's kind of counterintuitive. We have this idea in our brains because we've been indoctrinated into religion as well, right? Religion doesn't just indoctrinate you into believing that there's a God. Religion also indoctrinates you into believing that religion is good and that religion deserves protection. So we have this idea in our brains, even as atheists, that we have to protect religion and allow it, and that it has value, which it of course does not. So when we say, "Oh, your truth is your truth and my truth is my truth," we're helping religion and hurting the person we're talking to, and we're doing it all out of cowardice for ourselves because we don't want to handle it.
Yeah.
So it's not nice. It's not good. It's counterintuitive, and a lot of people need to understand that I get, I go on television and my veins pop out of my forehead and I start screaming and yelling. And yeah, this is all about love. This is all about compassion. This is all about community. This is all about caring about my fellow human.
It's really funny because you talked about how your veins pop out of your forehead and you start everything else. The follow-up question Corey has, and you can continue, it's just the timing was too good.
That's okay.
He really wants to touch and expand a bit on a speech you gave last year called Fuck Nazis.
Okay.
Or F Nazis, sorry.
Is that what the F stood for?
Yeah. Not friendly.
Well, I think he's referring to your speech from the American Atheists convention in 2017.
Yeah. He's talking about the fuck. That's what we call it. We call it the Fuck Nazi speech.
Yeah.
And
it's a beautiful speech.
Do you have a specific question, or do you just want me to talk about it for a minute?
Corey just wanted you to go off because he said that's what you're good at. So,
so I used to be Big Tent, right?
Yeah.
I used to be, and it's hard to go back, because when you step away from Big Tent, you step into from the extreme to the relative, and so then you've got a line to cross. When you say all atheists are welcome, that's an easy line to draw, right? If you don't have a belief in a God, you're an atheist, you're welcome. And if you start to pull that line back, well, not all atheists, because, somebody would say to me, and this actually did occur a few years ago, somebody challenged me and said, Dave, what about atheist Nazis? You're not going to allow atheist Nazis at the convention, are you? And I said, go away with that because there are no atheist Nazis. What is there, one atheist Nazi? Go away. We don't have to worry about that shit. Everybody's welcome. And now we have atheist Nazis. Oh. And fuck that, right? So I can't. I'm not going to put together a convention and be welcoming to a group of people who hate for fun. I'm not going to have a hateful clique. I'm not going to put hateful people up on our stage, and I'm not going to have a hateful group of people coming. And so I had to step back. And that speech that you heard about, when I basically said, if you don't have compassion, don't come. I don't want your money. If you think that harassing people or being negative to people because of their gender expression or because of their gender or because of their whatever, the color of their skin, just go away and leave, okay? And come back when you have compassion. Again, redemption is a thing. I don't want anybody to think that I'm pushing anybody away forever. I am pushing them away until they get compassion, until they get empathy, and they can come back and they can be nice people. Because American Atheists we're here to be nice. We're here to do good, folks. We're here to help the world. We're here to help the community. We're here to do good. I like to be a good person. I try to be a good person. I don't want bad people. And I'm not saying that. Well, yeah, I kind of am saying that all Nazis are not bad. They're not good people. So they're not. I mean, if you're going to figure out who is a good person, Nazi is way down at the bottom of that list, right? I like to apply skepticism to myself, and sometimes it means I have to come back and undo things that I've said. And that's what I did in that speech. Because, yeah, I mean, if you're a Nazi or a Nazi sympathizer, if you think that Nazis are okay, I don't want your money. I don't want your membership. I don't want you to come to the convention. Go get some compassion and come back next year. And I think that's a very fair thing to say. So this is part of the positive attitude that I was talking to you about with this convention. We're not doing what Mythicon is doing. Mythicon this next year is they're going to bring on the people again. And they're going to put them up on stage, and they're going to try and have a debate. And that's just great for them. Go for it. And I think they're going to that's just not what we're doing. I don't want to trash another atheist convention because, I'm not – they can do things their way, and I'm doing things our way. And but if you're perturbed by Mythicon, you will not be perturbed by the American Atheist National Convention. We've been doing conventions for decades. I have been to boy, I want to say somewhere between 30 and 50 conventions. And no, closer to 50. And I have been to maybe 18 or 19 American Atheist conventions. And I know what works and I know what doesn't, or at least I try to. And I think that the statement that we're making, that we just don't have time for hate. We don't have time for hate. We don't have time. I don't have patience. I abhor hate, and I abhor people who get off on hurting people. Again, a good example is Mythicon, and I'm not saying that Mythicon is all bad. You might enjoy Mythicon. I'm not going to trash them, but sending a rape tweet is not funny. Telling somebody they're too ugly to rape, especially if they've been the victim of sexual assault, is not funny. If you think it's funny, you need compassion. And then after you get compassion, you can come to an American Atheist event. Please do, because we want your business and we want your support if you're a nice person. I mean, think about I think about the woman that I like the least, I would say, is, I'll just say Laura Ingraham. Okay? I really don't like her. I don't know Laura, and I don't know Laura Ingraham. I've been on her show a few times. I don't like her. I don't like the way she I don't like the way I don't like the way she does her show at all. I don't like the way her brain works. We really, really disagree. I don't go to the point of hating anybody. But and I don't know anything about her background at all. I'm just saying this off the top of my head. If she had been sexually assaulted, I would never send her a tweet that said she was too ugly to rape. That's a horrible thing to do to another human being.
Absolutely.
That's low. It's low, folks. It's not cool.
Yeah,
it's not nice. I'm talking about a person that I tried to find the person I liked the least. And I could never send a "you're too ugly to rape" tweet at Laura Ingraham, especially if she had been a victim of sexual assault. That's just not a good person move. And this is something that I'm not putting up on stage.
Just to harp on a specific issue, there's been a lot of talk that mainstream atheism, new atheism, whatever, is not welcoming to women, is somehow, I don't know, it's man's game or whatever. Do you think that this approach that you're taking to your convention this year is going to help attract more female attendees and members?
I hope so.
Is that conscious? Is that a deliberate?
Well, it's not a let's attract women, but there is a deliberate concerted effort to making women feel welcomed.
Right.
There is a deliberate concerted effort to making women and people of color feel welcomed and included and wanted. And that is deliberate. And that is something that I'm very proud of. This is something that's been kind of something that I've been doing since I became president. We were the first atheist convention to have a comprehensive sex harassment policy. And when we put that in, certain people in the movement said, "You're bad for having that sexual harassment policy, and you should take it off." And I said, "No." And those people aren't coming to our convention now, and the convention's better for it. So, yes, there is a problem in atheism that we are unfortunately a male-centric movement. There's a lot of men. There's more men in power. There's more men in control. And when you come to the normal atheist conventions, the audience is pretty lopsided. There's substantially more men than women on the movement in the whole. At American Atheist conventions, it's much more even, because we make a concerted effort to make sure our speakers list is diverse and reasonably evenly gendered. We put in an effort to make sure that we have not just women, but powerful, well-spoken, brilliant people, brilliant women, brilliant men. And we make an event that is definitely, overtly welcoming to women and people of color. And yes, that is part of the intent. Now, this particular event, did we pick this hearts plus brains minus assholes to attract women? No, it was really to attract good people. I want to create a nice event. But yes, but the answer is that every convention that American Atheist does, we do put in the extra effort to attract women and to highlight the women in our movement and to highlight the power of women in our movement and to bring in people of color and to make everybody feel welcomed. That is a concerted effort at the American Atheist National Convention.
That's awesome.
Speaking of women at your convention, just very briefly, how do you protest jihadis topless? Like, how does one do that?
You
boobs over Baghdad.
Lead a protest. I mean,
but where? Where are they? I'm just it's fascinating to me.
Yeah, if you just Google Femen, Femen, you will see these heroes protesting imams, protesting governments, and they do it topless, and they get arrested.
What countries did they do this in?
Russia, Uzbekistan, and some places in Europe, and they Ina Shevchenko kicks ass. Yeah. She kicks ass. Okay, I mean, there are heroes in this world. There are real heroes in this world, and Ina Shevchenko is one of them. And I am so pleased that she's coming to this event. Especially when you're dealing with Muslims in Europe, with Muslim extremists in Europe and in parts of Asia, you are dealing with danger, real danger.
Oh yeah.
And to take off your top and paint your body and protest like that is just it's just so powerful.
It takes some pretty serious lady balls to do that.
Oh my goodness. I mean, Ina breathes fire. And she breathes fire. There's not too many people out there who can get me fired up. I like to get fired up, and there aren't too many people who can just make my blood boil when they speak. They can. Ina is just she oozes passion and brilliance and competence, and she uses compassion. I mean, she is compassion on fire. I can't say enough about her. I mean, nobody knows who she is in this country, and if you don't know who she is, you should look her up. Ina Shevchenko. She is she's a firebrand's firebrand.
Wow.
And I'm really, really thrilled to put her on stage too. Really thrilled to put her on stage.
Sounds awesome.
To go back to your to talking about the fact that you guys have a sexual harassment
policy.
When we did our convention, I don't know if we were all approached. I was approached about an improvement that we can make, which was adding a guaranteed safe space and security for people that have had issues or that have anxieties and stuff. I'm just wondering what you guys have set up for stuff like that for people that have been traumatized or that have anxiety.
We don't have anything like that. We have policies in place and people at the ready to enforce those policies. And we have safe places, but we don't have a specific space for people who have been traumatized. The other side of the positivity that we have at the American Atheist Convention is that because we've implemented all these policies, we don't get many instances. We don't get, we don't get many instances like that.
Yeah, sorry, that wasn't the way I was going with that. It's I had somebody that said that their friend wanted to come, but they felt too much anxiety because we weren't saying that there was a guaranteed safe space or security for people that have had trauma in the past, and that was what was holding them back.
So they wanted what? A place for people who would be safe, like a guarded room?
Yeah, or something, or security right in the main rooms or whatever, stuff like that.
Well, there's security all over our places.
Yeah.
But no, we don't have a space. That's the first time I've heard that request. We don't have a space for people who have been previously traumatized. It's an interesting idea. I'd be happy to discuss it, but we don't have anything like that. We do have specific policies in place, and we have means and resources to enforce those policies, and that's what makes it safe.
Right.
We do enforce the policy.
Corey also asked me to ask you about your thoughts on the death and legacy of Billy Graham. Let's open up that can really quick.
Oh, Billy Graham.
Or have you had enough of that already?
Well, no. I mean, you've got a hate monger here, okay? And you've got a hate monger who uses religion. So many people, and this is nothing that you don't know, so many people use their religion to justify their hate. Billy Graham was a rabid anti-Semite. He didn't like black people. He didn't like Jews. He didn't like women. He didn't like anybody who wasn't Christian. He sure as hell didn't like atheists. And he was in a position of tremendous power. And he used that power to corrupt our society. He is, as far as I'm concerned, one of recent America's great villains. He made a tremendous amount of money and wealth and fame for him and his family by hurting America in a huge way, and hurting and tossing aside Jesus' supposed teachings to love thy neighbor and to do unto others as you would have done unto you, and created this and really harped on this animosity. Him and Pat Robertson really, and Jim Baker to a degree, really harped on this ability to divide using religion. And he made a lot of power with it. And now he's lying in honor in our nation's capital. And there's not too much more that I want to go deface. I mean, I really do want to go deface it. I won't, but I want to. I want to. I mean, this man is a national disgrace, and he should not be lying in any sort of honor. He should, it's really a shame what's going on in this country, because when Donald Trump took over, of course, what he's doing, of course, he's an atheist, right? We all know that, right?
Of course,
we're not supposed to say that. We're not supposed to say that because he doesn't. We're supposed to say, "Oh well, he says he's a Christian. We should just believe him." I don't.
Well, we don't want him, right?
We don't want him. We don't want him, but we still have him anyways. And we have to not pretend that he's not an atheist, because he totally is, as far as I'm concerned. And then we have to realize what he's doing. He is giving everything to religion. Why? Not because he cares, but because he wants religions to back him up, right? He's having all these wonderful probes about Russia and all this wonderful corruption that he's doing with China. And he wants the support of the religious right, and that's why he's giving them everything, including this. And so what we're seeing here is a really it's the worst of all worlds. He is an atheist president, but he's the worst kind of atheist. He's an atheist traitor. Yeah, I mean, you call it what you want, but this is a person who is using religion who is giving the country away to religion frantically and freely as a shield.
It's a cynical use of religion. I mean, of religious people.
If there's any other kind of use of religion, but yes, it's awful. And the Billy Graham laying in honor in the nation's capital is a symptom, just another symptom of what is happening in this country. And this is why the atheist movement is so important, because this is going to affect America and Canada for a long time. And we have to fight this back. We have to unify, and we have to grow, and we have to fortify, and we have to outlast. And we have to we have to outrun and outlast. And, when we had Obama and everybody was looking forward to Clinton. We had this attitude that everything was good and things were getting progressively better and the world was progressing and everybody was seeing the benefits. And now that we have this nightmare, a lot of atheists are just packing up and going home. A lot of atheists have the wind knocked out of us. A lot of atheists are just
super demoralizing.
Super demoralizing, right? And one of the things the thing that we need to do is not get demoralized. We need to stand up and dig in because this is going to be a longer fight than we expected. And we just got kicked in the teeth. It's going to be a longer fight than we expected. It's going to be a longer fight than we wanted. But we can still win. All the numbers are on our side. Atheism is still the fastest growing religious demographic in all 50 states. We are going to win. It's just going to take longer, and we need to fight. If we don't fight, we will lose. Well, we might lose because they are doing so much damage to this country. They are doing so much damage that if the atheists don't rise up, if we don't rise up, we don't unify as a voting bloc, and we don't vote in somebody who supports the separation of church and state, we're going to lose, and lose big. We're going to lose this country. We haven't lost the country yet. But we still can and probably will win if we unify, if we mobilize, and if we take the country back in 2020 and 2018.
That's something I always found kind of weird with Billy Graham is the fact that in the States, you're supposed to have this big thing of separation of church and state, but he's had the ear of every president for, the last 60 years? It's just something that's kind of just always struck me as kind of weird.
And it's funny because we actually have separation of church and state.
Yeah, see, we have separation of church and state, but we also have a capitalistic society, and we also have, and when you have an unregulated religion, it's just like any other criminal industry, right? It's just like any other scam industry. If you don't regulate the scam industry is going to take over. It's going to promise a whole bunch of things, take a whole bunch of money, and make a whole bunch of promises that it will never deliver on. And that's what's happening in America. Religion has a tremendous amount of power in America because it's based on ignorance, it's unchecked, and it's tax-free, and it's unregulated completely. Like churches don't even file their forms. Nobody knows how much money any church makes. Nobody knows how they spend their money.
Not only are they tax-free, they cost because they don't. They don't pay anything for fire departments. They don't pay anything for police. They don't pay anything for anything.
They're huge liabilities.
Yeah.
They're huge liabilities to every town, to every taxpayer. Every taxpayer in the country pays more in taxes because churches pay none.
And your government's giving them money to rebuild their fucking churches after disasters. I can't believe that. I was yelling at my fucking computer when I saw that.
Yeah, it's really poisonous what Donald Trump is doing to this country. It's really poisonous, and that's why the American Atheist movement is so much more important now than it was even 2 years ago. It's now is more important than ever to become an atheist activist, to join American Atheists, to come to our conventions, and to be an out and proud atheist voter.
Now, on that note, sorry, I'm just going to interrupt really quick. If somebody, say, that lives 2,600 kilometers, 1,800 miles away, can't go to the conference because, we're not welcome in the U.S. because we're not Christian, and we can't get through your border security, and we don't want to climb a wall. How can people help out with the American Atheists?
So the best thing to do is
how can we give you money?
Sorry, I took a bite of food.
No.
So how can you give me money? So first of all, let's talk about the money. American Atheists is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We have 7 employees. We have a building with no debt, no mortgage. We have solar panels on the roof. Everything that we do is 7 employees and a huge slew of volunteers. Every year, we have our financials audited voluntarily by an independent accounting firm, and we publish those results on the web. you can go to atheists.org and see our financial information on the web for free anytime you want. I say that because, yes, I ask for money. I ask for money, and I want everybody to know, because so many times people say, well, you're asking for money. It's just like a church. It's just like a religion. Here we go. But no, activism does cost money. And American Atheists is, and I'm very proud that American Atheists is extremely efficient and extremely productive with how we use our members' dollars. So yes, go to the atheists.org website. It's atheists.org, and go to join as American Atheists, and joining is $35 a year. It's really better if you can do $10 a month. If you can do $10 a month, that's a big help, and that helps us even out our expenses. And if you can do more, life membership is $1,200, and you can do that in $100 expenses, $100 monthly for a year. Please do that. And yes, I did just ask everybody listening to give us $1,200 because we have to do this stuff. I'm going to ask for money because we run off that. This is how we get our stuff done. Now, I'll tell you one more thing that I talk about in my book. But I want to make this as a very broad statement, and it's very specific. American Atheists is, to the best of my knowledge, and I've been saying this now for 2 years, American Atheists is the only nonprofit organization in America that can say that it is single-handedly improving the country and back it up with independent quantitative data. We're the only ones. And nobody else has come up and said, hey, I've got this other nonprofit that can do that. In 2 years, I've been saying this. I have independent quantitative data from multiple sources that I can show you, that I can support strongly the assertion that American Atheists as an individual organization is affecting America in a positive way. 7 employees, no debt, no mortgage. And I can show you numbers. And I do in my book. Which is called Fighting God, which I hope everybody buys and everybody reads because it's a good book. And I like data a lot. I like quantitative data. I know how to use quantitative data. And I think that if people would realize that their money at American Atheists goes efficiently and is done well, basically what are you doing? When you donate to American Atheists, your money doesn't just go away. You're buying activism. That's what you're buying. You're buying activism from a team of very, very efficient, very, very effective activists. And yes, we need your help because our job just got a lot harder. Our job got a lot tougher and frankly, a lot more dangerous. So yes, please join American Atheists. Please give us $10 a month if you can afford it. Please give us $100 a month if you can afford it. We need it all. It's tax deductible. I don't know how the Canadian rules are for donating to American tax deductible organizations. But please help us. Please join us. And if you can, scale that wall and come to American Atheists. And come to the National Convention because it's going to be a lot of fun. Did I mention Hugh Laurie is coming? Hugh Laurie.
Just as a little point of trivia, how many members do you have now?
About 5,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're asking for money, but I thought it was because God spoke directly to you and said that you needed to build him a new house.
Well, God did speak directly to me, but he told me that he doesn't exist.
Okay. Well,
that must have been an interesting conversation.
Yeah, it was. I kept saying, I hear you. He's like, no, you don't. And I'm like, yeah, you do. And no, you don't. The atheist jokes write themselves.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
All right. So conference dates again?
Conference dates, March 29th to April 1st. And it's in Oklahoma City. And I do want to mention my book one more time. The book is called Fighting God. And it is now available on paperback. And you can get it on ebook and audiobook. And the audiobook is kind of funny because I narrate the book myself. And when I was editing the book, when we were recording the book, I got myself angry. Right? When I'm reading the book, I got myself angry. And so I started swearing. So if you listen to so let's just put some marketing twinge on it. There is bonus words in the audio.
Lots of words, great words.
Bonus
got the best words
in the audio book. that made my recording editor laugh very, very much because I'm starting to read. I'm and I just got myself really, really angry, and you'll hear that. You'll hear that passion in the audiobook. So, Fighting God, an Atheist Manifesto for a Religious World. It's on sale now, and you can get it on paperback and buy it anywhere. I think Charter Indigo in Canada has them, and the American Atheist National Convention, atheists.org/convention 2018 is the website. You can buy your tickets now. I will tell you that if I don't move the convention, which it may be happening, the convention will sell out. The billboards for the convention just went up today or yesterday. And they got Hugh Laurie's picture on them. So we are expecting to sell out, and we are expecting to make this fantastic convention memorable as hell. I think this very well could be the best convention we've ever done. And I am really, really excited about it. I hope you can kind of feel the excitement that's coming out of me because I'm really looking forward to this one.
You seem pretty giddy.
Positive and happening. Yeah, I am. I'm really giddy because this is going to be, when you're putting together a convention, there's this, you go through these cycles, these phases. And, first we're going to have the convention. Wow, it's really exciting, really exciting. Okay. Then you get into this lull where you're doing the hard stuff, right? You're getting the speakers, you're finding out who can come, you're finding out, you're balancing everything, you're making sure that it's well represented and diverse, and you're doing all this work to make this convention. And then after everything is set and the tickets start selling, you get a buzz, you go up. And I am really buzzed about this convention right now. I'm really buzzed about it. And I am really looking forward to it. It's only a month away, and it's going to be spectacular. And if you can, if you can't afford the full price, you just pay less on your honor on your honor roll, on your honor system. You just pay less. You just take the lower price. There's a hardship price, and you can just pay it. So please come, and of course, pay the higher price if you can. But if you're going to say you can't afford it, you could just pay for the lower price. It's $99 for the whole weekend. $99. If you're a student, it's $50 for the whole weekend. So we're trying to make this really, really aggressive, really, really aggressively priced rather, and really, really big.
So it's about 400 Canadian.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's say I want to buy a ticket, but it sells out. How early will next year's go on presale?
Oh,
all the tough questions.
He hasn't started thinking about next year.
Well, you've been doing it for how many years?
No, we've got our city for next year. We haven't locked down the location yet. We don't have next year is still it's
in the air
on the drawing board, but it's so far in the distance now. So when would
Mike Pence will be president by then?
Oh Jesus!
I would say July, August before the tickets go on sale for. I would say July maybe before the tickets go on sale for 2019. But
Sorry, did you say you already had a city in mind?
We do have a city, and I don't want to announce it here, but we do have a city. We do know where it's going to be, but we don't have the location yet. We don't have the speakers lineup yet, of course. Right now, I'm just completely focused on Oklahoma City.
For sure.
And by the way, Oklahoma City is a great city. I'm really pleased with the reception that we're receiving. The mayor gave us a letter to welcome us. And there's a lot of atheists in Oklahoma City, and we're going to set them up, and we're going to make a really good we're going to leave the city of Oklahoma City with more atheists organized and joining the local atheist groups so that they can have critical mass, so that they can make money and they can thrive as an independent atheist organization. So we're going to leave a footprint when we leave Oklahoma City. It's going to be fun. This is what we do for a living. I love my job.
Awesome. Well, I hope you have great success. I'm sure we all do. Wish I could go. I can't get the time off, though. I don't get time off.
Excuses.
Well, I hope you could make it. I hope you get the time off, and I hope all of your people come, and I hope everybody comes to the Atheist Convention. And what else did I want to tell you? I think that's it.
Do you have any where can people find your stuff? Where can people find your information?
Oh yeah. Well, my Twitter handle is Mr. Atheist Pants. And
genius.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the cute story about that. Stephen Colbert actually called me Mr. Atheist Pants on his show.
You have to take that.
And I wanted a different Twitter handle. And he called me Mr. Atheist Pants, and as soon as he said it, I'm like, oh, that's it. I mean, it speaks to me. So I have this wonderful Twitter handle. Facebook is facebook.com/Dave Silverman. The American Atheist Twitter handle is @American Atheist, and we also have an American Atheist Twitter page, a Facebook page. We're also on Instagram. I think everybody who wants to find me should follow Mr. Atheist Pants, because that's where I spend most of my time. I'm a Twitter person more than a Facebook person. And that's it. I am bubbling over with this, and I'm really excited, and I really want to thank you all for having me on. I want to thank you all for having me on and having me talk about this.
We appreciate your time.
And letting me yammer on about this convention, because this is going to be some fun stuff.
Well, and if we can, I know Corey books everybody about a year in advance, but we might see if we can hit you up for a follow-up in July or August. You let us know how it went, and maybe we'll get information on next year's.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to come back on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Dave. Well, thanks for joining us. I guess we'll let it go, and look forward to hearing about the convention.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on, and we'll talk to you all soon, and we'll see hopefully a bunch of you in Oklahoma City
awesome.
at the end of the month.
Safe travels, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
All right, host.
All right, so we have about 10 minutes before we go to break. Actually, no, we missed a break, didn't we?
Oh, we started a little bit late.
We started a little bit late.
Yeah, that kind of changes things a bit.
Yeah, because normally right after that we go into our 9:30 ad break. So maybe we'll do that.
We will.
Sure.
Flying by the seat of our pants.
We are drowning without Corey. Let's just be honest.
Get over here, Corey, right
Don't
now.
we normally do the ad break right after the interview?
Yeah, usually Corey says, and hit that ad break. And then I go like this.
If you like what we're doing and want to help us keep the lights on, go become a patron at patreon.com/Brainstorm Podcast. You can hear the bonus half hour that we record every episode and get a shout out when you support the show. Become a patron for just $1 an episode at patreon.com/Brainstorm Podcast. Or you can support the show by ordering a t-shirt, mug, or other gear from our store at caffeepress.ca/Brainstorm Podcast Gear. If you can't afford to become a patron or buy gear, then why not give us a rating or write a review on iTunes or Stitcher? Every rating makes it easier for people to find us. Thanks for your support.
Tired of living in a culture of lies, fake news, and alternative facts? The Pro-Truth Pledge reverses the tide of lies by calling on politicians and everyone else to commit to truth-oriented behaviors. Take the pledge at protruthpledge.org.
Hi, this is Trav Mamone, host of the By Any Means podcast. Join me every week as I interview bloggers, podcasters, writers, and activists about the intersections of atheism, humanism, racial justice, feminism, LGBTQ rights, and other social issues. You can subscribe to the podcast through iTunes, Spreaker, and Stitcher, and you can read my blog at freethoughtblogs.com/byanymeans. And remember, that's bi spelled B-I. Come take a listen to the musings of a queer humanist, because, hey, aren't we all a little bi-curious?
And we're back after some shameless plugs. That I don't think Corey even gets paid for any of them, but anyway. We need money too.
Were we supposed to be paid for this gig?
He gets paid in enchiladas.
Enchiladas. Yeah. That's a pretty crappy currency.
That would probably work though.
Yeah. We'll work for water. He'd watered down water.
The clammy taste.
Featuring tomatoes.
Yeah.
And clam.
Well, he'll never suffer from like
scurvy.
Scurvy. Yeah.
He'll keep all his teeth.
Yeah, we didn't really get into Billy Graham too much though. Like what do you guys think? I'm glad he's dead. I'll straight up and say
But he is looking down on us from heaven.
Yeah. I don't know. He might be in for a surprise. Woo, it's warm in here.
Heaven has a lot of fire and
and people with pitchforks.
I've always detested fucking televangelists and evangelists.
Well, like I said with David Silverman, I think it's weird that they had this official White House reverend almost in Billy Graham, like
a direct relationship with the White House.
It was really bizarre because he had the ear of every president from Nixon to Obama. Like
he met Obama.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm
like the U.S. still has like the national prayer breakfasts and crap,
which
like
was
that.
started by Billy Graham.
Oh,
so I mean.
That's kind of depressing too.
It's just really weird because, like, Billy Graham, if there is such a thing, he was the rock star of televangelists, if there is such a thing, but he was it.
Is there a Canadian equivalent of Billy Graham?
I don't.
Stephen Harper.
Or someone that comes close, I guess.
I don't think we have
Dave Roman.
Like the thing is,
Reverend Johnny Horton.
Our market's a little small for televangelism.
Thank God.
Thank the Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
Praise Jeebus.
So, but I mean, we get a lot of cross pollination too.
I'll say the Americans come here all the time.
Yeah.
My in-laws have been to a few of them, so wonderful.
And we tend to fall in line and deify Catholics more than Christians.
Catholics are a type of Christian.
Yeah, but like directly the specific Catholic Church. Which is why we have an national
the country.
Pope John Paul II Day.
Do we?
Yes, April 2nd. Guess what else April 2nd is?
The day after April Fool's Day?
Autism Awareness Day.
Oh, which one came first?
Autism Awareness Day.
Really?
Oh, well, that's bullshit then. But honestly, who cares about autism?
Yeah,
our provincial government doesn't. I know that.
I guess our provincial government is the closest thing to Billy Graham then, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You'd be shocked.
No. The closest thing we have is, what's his name, that likes to invite Christians from the States and likes to go on campus and show pictures of fetuses.
Watcott.
Except he's poor as fuck.
Yeah, well,
that's
the Canadian version.
Yeah. he's got nobody's ear, whatever. But yeah, no, like Billy Graham, I think it's like the whole thing with because he's laying in state right now is just bizarre. I mean, I sort of get it, but it's still kind of bizarre.
I wonder what, like, the sense, like, what's the pulse of the nation? Are most Americans like, oh yeah, it's a totally good idea? Or most Americans like, oh, fuck it, whatever, who cares? Or, I don't know. Yeah.
There's probably a
like, David Silverman was pissed. Some people are like, oh, he's the best guy ever. But most people are just like, oh, fuck, seems stupid to me, but whatever.
There's probably, much like Trump support, there's probably about 36% that are like, this is awesome, this is the way it should be. And there's probably a lot of people, and the rest are like, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, it's to a lot of people, it's a body.
I honestly have a hard time getting worked out about. I mean, he's terrible.
I mean, the thing is like, yeah, he's, he was Billy Graham behind the moral majority?
I don't think he was.
He's he probably didn't speak out against it.
I think that was during the Southern Strategy. Falwell.
I don't know anything.
Got me thinking, like, I never really got your opinions. Well, what are all your thoughts on funerals in general?
That might be it. that's a total side thing. But
I have a pretty short and sweet one. You could dump me in a ditch. I'm done with it once.
And
I
you
die.
can just donate me.
That's kind
Jerry
of my plan.
Falwell.
Oh, he's moral majority. Okay, but still, Billy Graham still had his.
It's really weird.
Funerals are as stupid as weddings.
Well, okay, hang on. A funeral is not for the. I don't care what happens at my funeral because I'm dead. But some people like me or care about me, those humans might want to get together and be like, fuck, we're sad. And it brings them some sense of closure, makes them happy. Great. I mean, it can be a racket. I would hate for my kid to spend way too much money on some stupid casket or something. I mean, what happens to my body is different.
The money.
My estate spends money, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know, funerals are, I mean, the thing is, if as atheists we say, oh, funerals are stupid, blah, 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 it shouldn't happen, that's going to push people away, right? Because these are rituals that speak to people these are deep-seated things. And people want to do them because it makes them feel better. It's cool.
A ritual of closure.
Fine.
It's closure. But, it allows your family to move on.
There doesn't have to be anything supernatural about it. You have to be like, oh, and God was here in the room with us.
I just don't think they have a need of a body or remains to do with this.
No, the average funeral, if you do a full funeral, is like $30,000.
Okay, I can get behind that being stupid.
No,
sure. Yeah, but
what's left in the bucket?
If your family wants to get together, if grandma dies and you get together at your mom's house and everyone brings a potluck and everyone's like, oh, grandma was the best. Yeah, she was the best. We all cry together and sing a song.
Awake.
Then you go spend $200 at the LB and somebody brings shepherd's pie.
Yeah, my family doesn't do expensive funeral. Maybe that's why I don't get all. Like, my grandmother bought my great-grandmother a condo at the crematorium, which is like the little shelf so she bought her a condo, her little shelf, and that's where she went. And I don't know, she paid a few $100 for a thing, and everyone felt better, and it was a thing.
Yeah, and I think when I say I think they're stupid, I mean, it's the same as people that spend $60,000 on a wedding.
What a cheap wedding. No.
Only $60,000? It's supposed to be 2 years worth of salary, man. Come on.
Oh, is that the rule?
No, it's definitely not. I'm just making like the ring rule.
2 months for the ring or something.
I spent like $3,000.
Good for you, Dave.
On the ring.
No, on the wedding.
We spent under $1,000 on everything.
To be honest, you had a very limited amount of time to plan it.
And a lot of my family and friends made fun of us for getting married so quick because we got married within 6 weeks.
I'm still making fun of you for it right now.
Like 6 weeks of meeting each other?
Yes.
Starting, yeah.
And
I wouldn't recommend many people.
That was a decade ago. And all of my friends that made fun of me are divorced.
You know what's funny? I remember the day I met you. You tried to sell me a piece of crap Mazda car.
I did.
And you did sell me a piece of crap Mazda car.
The next day.
The next day. But the first day I met you, you're like, why do you have to get there? I said, well, I'm separating from my ex. And then, I don't know, you just decided to pour some salt on there. Like, my wife and I got married after only 6 weeks. And we're still married 10 years later. I'm like, oh, well, fuck you, dude. Here, let me give you tens of thousands of dollars for a car.
I also congratulated you. Because there's no such thing as a bad divorce.
That's very true.
Ideal.
I am not sad that I am no longer with my ex, just FYI.
They might suck, but
nobody gets divorced and is like, oh, I'm going to get out of this happy marriage in order to get divorced.
Oh, I agree.
That's not a
there's
thing.
that. There is the escape part, but there's the pain in the meantime.
Sure, they're messy and
I didn't
painful.
say they're not painful, but if it's still worth it, Jesus.
But birth is messy and painful, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be good.
For those of you getting a divorce, try not to take it out on your banker.
Fuck the banker. It's all the banker's fault.
It's very tough.
Okay, we want to split everything. We don't want anybody's credit to get wrecked, which somebody's credit always gets fucked. Always gets fucked in a divorce.
It's very difficult on bankers.
All right,
because we can't intrigue too much upon it.
No.
Well, that's an official total derail.
Yeah.
Well done, team. Good
Anyways,
job.
fuck Billy Graham.
All right. Why don't we move into our music break? For live listeners and patrons, you can enjoy the next few minutes, and we'll be right back. For regular feed subscribers, this is where we'll end Skeptic Studio.
What the fuck, dude? Isn't this a little soon? Like, what, are we going to be done by 10? Like, what the hell? Turning into a pumpkin?
It's on schedule.
Read the fucking script. 10 o'clock. Music thing.
You gotta ad lib here, buddy. Come
Remember
on.
to check out Shift to Reason Radio next week to hear listener feedback, new patrons, iTunes reviews, and our reading from a book, article, or Facebook post. This week we're going to be listening to Redneck by Lamb of God. That was my pick. We Fight by Dashboard Confessional.
Not my pick.
Dashboard.
Cult of Personality by In Living Color.
Also not my pick.
Probably Dave's pick.
Because I'm brown.
Because he's brown.
I didn't even like
I wonder
it
what
that
that's
much.
like, Dave.
No, it's actually not. It's not. I don't know who picked that song. I don't even like it.
I like the song, but it's not my favorite.
It's a good song.
Here we go.
It's just a pee break, people. Come
on. You can check out the show notes at brainstormpodcast.com, our website, brainstormblog.net. Thanks to our financial supporters, Utah Outcast, Basit, Will, Aaron, Daryl, Alden, Lachlan, Lisa, Magnus, Michael, Nathan, Positively Skeptical, Rob, and Stephanie. If you want to join them and help out the show grow, then you can do that at patreon.com/brainstormpodcast. You can also support us by donating to our GoFundMe for the conference at gofundme.com/shift-2-reason-conference-2018. That's terrible. We're over $1,000 and we'll likely start booking things soon. Join us every second week when we broadcast live on brainstormradio.net. Our next show is on March 16th, and our guest will be Jean Achiard, formerly of the Polyaskery podcast and friend to many in the atheist podcast community. We'll probably talk about polyamory and atheism. Thanks to David Silverman for joining us. You can find more of his stuff at atheists.org. Thanks to Dave for our intro music. Thanks for Aaron Raby for doing our new intro voiceover that we didn't do because Dave couldn't find the new intro. Thanks to Alex Caper Murdoch for doing the voiceover work for our ads. And thanks to Jason Como for our outro music. You can find his stuff at theloststateofmind.com. All music played is either with permission or under the SOCAN license to play. For more information on SOCAN, check out the music license info page on our website, brainstormblog.net. Remember to give us a rating, a thumbs up, or a fave on your favorite podcatcher. Join our Facebook group, like our page, follow us on Twitter, share the show, and spread the word. Man, he's just desperate for attention. For live listeners, stick around for the after show. You can go to brainstormafterhours.com and listen to the bonus content before it goes to Patreons only. Thanks for listening, and remember, the truth matters.
Take care, everyone.
This is an opinion-based podcast. Each person on the podcast is responsible for their own opinions, and those opinions don't necessarily reflect the views of the rest of the panel. Any guests or anyone associated with the people on the podcast, such as spouses, partners, children, other family members, friends, or employers. No one person speaks for the podcast with the possible exception of Corey, and he doesn't speak for anyone else on the show. The Brainstorm podcast does not represent the views of our sponsors.
We just wanted to say thanks to everyone who listens to us, shares the show, gives us a rating on iTunes or Stitcher, or supports us through Patreon and Gumroad. We don't have a lot of interactions with our listeners, but what we have had proves that we attract some of the best people around. Smart, kind, and cool. An audience truly worthy of the titles hardcore and woo-free. Thanks for helping us make the world a smarter place.